everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the next episode of Black Table Talk. I'm your host, Joel the Dawn, and I'm here with my guest, Tyresse.
Welcome to the North Shore. Welcome to the city. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good vibe out here.
Your new EP drops, Point of View. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Point of View, P.O.V. Honestly, I just wanted to make sure that every song on this was a banger. I didn't want to leave anything mid-tier. You know, I'm not a mid-tier artist, so I really try to take my time with this. There's definitely been a lot of blockades. Every artist goes through that, struggling to get in the right environment to really make that music. You know, I'm a college kid. I'm here on campus. Trying to adjust to recording in the dorms wasn't really working out. Then I moved dorms and it definitely helped open that up. But also, I'm definitely a person that likes to make music on experiences and memories and moments. I'm definitely a moments artist. And I feel like I wasn't getting out enough, so I just had to look at what points in my life where I was making the best music, and that was definitely when I was going out and experiencing the world. So I kind of just, you know, when you're at the club with the mad team outside, you're gonna catch that vibe. Definitely, it was just like I had to go experience some things, and it just gave me like a flood of inspiration, and I was able to just start popping off. Like it'll be 3 a.m. I got work. You know what I'm saying? 4 in the morning, I'm like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta keep grinding and I gotta get through it. And then I'll be up 3 a.m., finished a banger, and I'm dancing to that, so I can't even stop playing it. Like, I'm trying to go to sleep. But yeah, P.O.V's definitely been a work in progress, and I'm definitely proud of what it's become. And I'm glad to finally let people hear it. I know there's some people that's been waiting a long time for it.
That's what's up. In this podcast, we're going to delve deep into your story and how it's like for small artists to get management and how they start off their career from being undiscovered to trying to get into the mainstream media and the music industry. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk more about that. And also we're going to break down some of your songs and your EP Point of View and talk to like what's your muse and the inspiration behind every single song on the EP. Point of View, in that EP, you have 5 songs.
Yeah.
The first one is Deadly Romantic. Second is Cold Hearts with a Z. Shrugging It Off, which is personally my favorite. Palms.
Yeah.
And then Picture Perfect.
Yeah.
But before we begin that,
Yeah.
I want to hear your story. What's your upbringing around music? What was the first thing that got you motivated to record in your room and getting started with all that?
Yeah, I grew up moving around a lot. Definitely not in the best environments. Been in the struggle. Had my times in the trenches. But that shaped what happened and what trouble I got into. I ended up catching some court cases. And I had to go to this program, and they had a mic set up there for me. And they were like, they want to get you to do activities or whatever it was.
Right.
And I always used to write little things on my notebook, but I really wanted to be a dancer or an actor. And I went to the Disney Channel audition and stuff like that. I made it. I paid for everything. And I realized you had to be in LA to really get those interviews. So I had paid $2,000. My dad scrambling, trying to make that money happen. And I think that was the first time he actually like just wanted to invest in me for real that time. But after that, I had a falling out with my family, got into a lot of trouble, and I got, you know what I mean? I got put into programs. So I'm living in programs. I'm going to that program. I'm like, kind of like group homes. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
And then they sent me to this program where the mic was at, and I picked up the mic. And I just remember, like, when I first started rapping on it and I heard my voice back, I was like, yo, this is fire. I love this. This might be what I want to do. And I just fell in love with it. I was, like, walking every day, snow, sleet, you know what I'm saying? Everything, like, bad weather. It doesn't matter what the weather was. I was walking, like, 2+ hours, you know what I'm saying, to get to where I needed to get to record, because they let me record it for free over there. And I had a good mentor. He taught me how to audio engineer all my stuff. Right now, I'm working with some other audio engineers to further my music. I'm going to school for that right now. Definitely going to be more open to letting other audio engineers work on my music. But as of right now, I am recording and editing my own stuff. I learned a lot of that stuff through that program. And they ended up closing, which was actually kind of a sad thing. Right. Seeing something that helped you out so much as a child just go away. And it's like a part of you. Yeah. It was definitely a good place for the community, but COVID happened and everything was shutting down and people weren't getting referred over there, so they couldn't stay open. Yeah, it was just sad to see it go, but I definitely take all those lessons with me every day. I got a lot of inspiration from being in the trenches and struggling and going through relationships and seeing what works and seeing what not, and realizing that maybe, I don't know what's going on, but maybe it's just right now it's not the time for me. Maybe that's not what's planned for me. All that heartbreak, instead of putting it in the fucked up way, like I would take that and I'd put it into my music because that was my therapy. You know what I'm saying? Every time I was tired or I was mad or something, and like I really couldn't take my emotions or I was super sad, like I just hop on the mic, bro. I let my feelings go. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why people fuck with my music so much, is because like they could really relate. And I just try to be real honest and transparent. And I try to let it be known that it's okay to be vulnerable, because if you're not vulnerable in your music, who's gonna be able to relate to you?
And how long did it take you from that program to create your first song? And how did you feel about that first time that you wrote something that you felt close to?
The first time I really wrote something and heard it back, I was ecstatic. And it was like, they just got me in a spot where they have really good computers and really cool tech I've never learned about before. I'm learning how to navigate this tech for the first time. And then I found autotune and I fell in love with that shit. Like, I really love autotune music. Like, Travis Scott was definitely someone who, like, Travis Scott and Drake were the two people who, like, got me into music in general, but Travis Scott more specifically, because like that auto-tune sound was just like so ear candy to me, and I just wanted to do something like that. I wanted to just put my own spin to it, not necessarily be Travis, but be myself with that type of genre of music. And I think I've done a pretty good job so far. I think I'm still learning my sound and I'm still learning what I like, and I'm just trying to better myself every day. And the goal is just to keep upgrading.
For sure. And if you remember, like, what was the name of your first song?
My first song,
Yeah.
it was actually a diss track. It was a diss track to, shout out if you're watching this, to Afro Boy. Yeah, that shit went viral. Everybody was playing it in the school. It was like, it was so garbage. It was so bad. But like, people just loved to hear it because the chorus was catchy, but it was just shit. And it got like 2,000 views, and you're like, you're a kid in what, elementary school, and your song's getting 2,000 views. Like, you're ecstatic, you're lit. You know what I mean? It was a fun time. It was definitely a different rapping style. But yeah.
And I think you mentioned this to me previously. You're in a label, correct?
I'm not in a label. I'm actually an independent artist right now, but I do have a manager. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy B. Yeah, it's my guy. You know what I mean? He gets shit done. He makes sure I'm straight. Yeah, I found him with this artist called Alex Jordan, who introduced me to Jimmy. And we've been working together ever since. So yeah, we're just trying to push this project and make the right decisions.
Right. So, what advice do you have for those starting out in music, like trying to get a manager or just trying to break into the music industry? What advice do you have for them about that?
Honestly, to be real with you, I think look for results. Try to do things that's gonna get you results, not something that makes you feel like they're making progress. You know what I mean? And when it comes to the actual music part, most of the important part is the actual promotion. You could have the best music in the world, but if you're not promoting, like, it doesn't matter. You could have the shit music in the world and be on top, better than someone that's way better than you. First off, definitely find your style. Definitely see what works for you, and don't try to, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to like a style, but put your own flair to it. You know what I mean? Don't just be a fucking copy clone. Like, I have songs that people, they'll listen to it and they'll never tell me the same artist. They'll be like, because everybody is always going to compare everybody. It's always in music. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm like, oh, he sounds like this, he sounds like that. But, you know, I don't hate on it. Like, I take it for what it is. And they can never tell me it's the same person. It's always a different person that they think I sound like, which tells me that I just can't be put in one category. And I'm very diverse with my music. I don't like to stick to one genre. But I suggest focus on finding out what type of music you like, and don't be afraid to try new things. And before you think about getting a manager, get a catalog together for some, so they can actually manage something. A lot of people, they look for a manager and they ain't even start 3 songs yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like your priorities are fucked up. But yeah, I just got lucky, man. You know what I'm saying? Just at the right time, at the right place, and I'm just trying to make moves.
Right. And you said for starting artists that they need to create some songs so that the manager can work with it. So about how many songs do you feel a new coming artist should have to work with a manager?
I think you gotta kind of dip your foot in the water, right? I didn't get a manager until I dropped like 30 songs. That's just me personally. You know what I'm saying? Actually, more than that. I made way more music I didn't even drop. So I'd say I probably had 50 songs released and unreleased under my belt before I even got to have that opportunity to get a manager. I was looking for one, but I wasn't really looking for one. It just came to me. I feel like if you seek things out too much, it doesn't really, like, it's like the harder you want it, the more it runs away from you, which is funny because, you know, you're chasing this dream. But you just have this thing in the back of your head where you're like, look, I know this is like a 1 in a billion chance, but you just got to believe that you're him and you're that guy and you're going to make it. And I truly believe that I'm on my way to success. I don't believe I'm up next. I believe I'm up now, and I believe now is my time. Definitely just have that confidence and have those songs under your belt, but make sure that when you're doing those songs, they have some substance to it. Like, it's okay to have every few songs be like turn up song where it's not like you're not really saying too much, but it's the vibe, it's the lick. That's good too, you know what I mean? But people are gonna connect with you more with that stuff that they could tell is more genuine and it's from your heart, you know what I mean? So I like to mix it up. I don't just do lit songs, and if I do lit songs, it's definitely personal. And there are times when I just talk my shit and let it go. Yeah, but I try to like keep true to what's going on in my life and just let the light shine on it.
All right. So you say it's quality over quantity.
Of
So it's
course,
not about
always.
like 30 songs, but it's just qualities to find you your sound, basically.
Realistically, if you had 12 good songs to start off with and they're fire, go ahead, get a manager if you can. But most people aren't going to be fire off their first 12 songs. You know what I'm saying? You need
Yeah.
hours in those studios. I definitely have more than 10,000 hours in studios. I've been working. Like, I don't even sleep sometimes. This is a song I want to drop. It's like 24 in the booth. I've been working. Take another dose. I've been paid purging. You know what I mean? Like, for real, like, true shit. I remember I was in the studio working on the project I had pop out my album called Gold. And there was no windows. It was just like, and don't judge me on this, it was just a bottle of Barefoot. Like, you know that wine, the Barefoot?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is why it was the most random shit. But it was like the only thing there. And I just stood in the studio for 2 days. I didn't even know I didn't even know it was 2 days. Like, I didn't know if someone came up or nothing. I slept in there and I was just working on my project. I came out with like 2 new fire songs. And obviously I could have made like 20 songs in out 2 nights, but it's like, no, I want to make sure this is, well, one. Plus I'm editing all my own stuff. So like I have to take that time to get it right. But yeah, it's just that grind. You got to want it. You got to really want it for sure. It's not something for the faint of heart. You can't give up.
Sure, persistence can take you far, but consistency is what really keeps you in that line and keeps you going, I would say. So that's great. And also, what are some of the obstacles that you faced in the beginning? And what are some of the obstacles that you face now? And have you overcame them? Or are you still trying to pass through that barrier?
Some of the obstacles that I had was I didn't really know at first. Before I found like that auto-tune lane where I cultivated my sound, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know what. Every time I rapped without auto-tune, I didn't really feel it. Like I liked it. And there's certain occasions, like Deadly Romantic has no auto-tune on it, but I fucking love that song. You know what I'm saying? It was just a moment. Like I didn't force it. But I felt like that wasn't really my area. And when I found that, it just helped me like explode and create me to the artist that I am now. I love making melodies, like I really do. And I don't mind using autotune. I don't care when people be like, oh, use autotune. Or like, it doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, just finding that was a big part. And then any obstacles I'm facing right now, like you said, breaking into the industry earlier, I remember you talking about that. I haven't really broken in yet. Like, I'm just on my way. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's my time. But right now, I'm doing a podcast like this, dropping music videos, and I'm doing promo, and I'm doing campaigns. And I'm hoping for that spark, but I'm not just sitting around waiting for it. I'm trying to go make it happen. So right now, the barrier for me is figuring out how to promote the right way, especially in mass, because it's like a lot of people will show you fake love or fuck with you, but they won't fuck with you. You know what I mean? And you just sitting there like, which one is it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, are you gonna buy this merch? You're gonna fake like you're gonna buy this merch. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, if you live here, you know what I'm talking about. Like, everybody, they see you going up and they kind of just want to bring you down. It's like, you gotta be careful who you stay around. I definitely had some situations where I had some people I was working with who just deleted my whole catalog and I had to restart. Like this catalog I have right now, I had a different Instagram. I had a different SoundCloud. I had like 200,000 views on my SoundCloud. I was getting like 80K views on my SoundCloud. That shit got deleted, but I didn't like it was definitely a tough time for me going from getting stopped in the malls and stuff like that. I was getting mobbed outside my house and seeing that transition to losing it all and just being like, oh fuck, what do I do now? But the thing that I like about myself and I noticed about myself is that I never stayed down for too long. I just took that to the chin and I was like, okay, watch this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get back up. And right now I'm on my grind back up. But I was definitely doing good a couple years ago. But right now it's just my music has changed, my vision has changed. So maybe it's just time for rebranding. I definitely look different. Yeah, so it's just stuff like that.
Yeah, on the topic of branding, when it comes to Boston artists aren't really known in the country, but there's great Boston artists. I feel like their sound isn't getting out there.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing things differently than artists in the Boston area? Or do you feel like they're getting traction or is it slowly getting there?
I think, I see Bia doing her thing. She's making waves. There's Tyler Loyal out there. Shout out to him, you know what I mean? There's Johnny Cash. He's making waves too. And I think their sounds are definitely from Boston, you know what I mean? But for me personally, I feel like my sound is very different. Like I'm always doing something different. I'm always striving. So I feel like when I do get to that point of stardom, I'll have so many options to work with because I have been working with so many genres and experimenting that I think my sound will definitely be able to break through. And I think people will listen to that and see my style and be like, wow, this is something, you know what I'm saying? That it sounds homey, but there's something different about it. It gives you that familiarity, but it's not like, oh, this sounds like a clone. It's like, oh, this is still different. I like this. It's good. But, you know, obviously there's going to be haters and there's going to be like people that are going to hate on your music regardless. And especially when I say familiarity, I mean like those notes that you like, not necessarily the way the song goes. I'm definitely like a big ear candy person. I like
Yeah.
to make notes that you kind of hear and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that bliss feeling or like that feeling that just turns you up. That's what I strive for. And I definitely like to say things that'll linger in your mind. Like you'll be in your room and just like, damn, I just can't get it out of my head. That catchy vibe. At least what I've been told from people that give me feedback. And this is definitely not me being cocky or anything, but it's just definitely like feedback I've gotten, or at least for what I've seen. And I've never showed some of my music and they say it was trash. I've had people be like, it's okay. Because, you know, you're always going to have people be like, it's okay. But 95% of the time, the reaction I see from people is what makes me keep going. Like, I'll see them hear my music and I'll see their reaction. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Like, this feels like a movie. And I just try to keep that vibe going and that energy going because I really love doing this. And I don't think, if I didn't even get paid for this and, you know what I'm saying, I didn't need money to live, I'd still do this. So it's just definitely my passion, it's my love. And I want to keep it going as long as possible.
Straight up dedication. Yeah. And then it really goes into the mindset of an artist of trying to, like you said, like you'll still do this. And there's a stigma on struggling artists.
Yeah.
So how do you view yourself as an artist? Do you feel you're getting to that point where you're like, oh, I'm not really struggling and getting my sounds out there or just getting paid? Or do you have ideas and strategies on how to get around that?
I'm not gonna disclose how much I make. But,
Well, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. There's always been roadblocks and stuff like that. But I've figured out a way, and I'm working with my manager to always make things better. You know what I mean? My suggestion for anybody struggling right now is just find someone. Doesn't even have to be a real like professional manager, but someone that can at least give you that extra help. You know what I mean? And do research. A lot of people are lazy. Like they just don't want to do research.
Yeah.
Like, and they just don't want to say, like, if this is something you really want, do it. You know what I mean? Get it done. If you don't, we're competing. There's a competition. There's like thousands of other artists out there trying to do the same exact thing that I'm doing. And if I'm not doing what I need to do, they're gonna pass me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how talented I am. And I'm recognizing that. And I definitely had to work hard to gain my talent for music. But I think one of the obstacles for me is once I gained that, I became stagnant. And that's where it comes from. Like, yo, just do what you need to do. Because once I figured that out and I stopped relying on just my talent, I feel like I've gotten to a better place on where I'm at right now. And I feel like people who work hard and people who just have talent, the people who work hard are probably going to win 90% of the time. And the people who have talent and work hard, how can you beat that? You know what I mean? It's like the only person that can beat that is like you working against yourself, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always a battle with yourself. Like, how can I be better? I wake up every day thinking, how can I make my life better? How can I make the quality of my life better? How can I make the quality of my music better? How can I reach the people more? And it's just, you got to start thinking like that. You got to start thinking ahead. You got to start doing things purposefully
Yeah.
with a plan and action too.
You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. But I also want to add in that you have to do your research first. Like, yeah, you don't have to be perfect, but think about the best ideas. What are some of the best things that you need for, whether it be like recording a podcast or sorting out your music, finding out the best tools, like what are the best audio devices, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also it's a great thing because, you know, what you don't know, you're getting taxed off that.
Yeah.
If you know earlier, you ain't got to spend too much money along the line. So it's really good to start off strong and to use your brain. Like, your brain is an application. Apply yourself. And people don't apply themselves, and
I like
see
that. Your
that.
brain's an application. I like that.
Yeah, man. Our brains are, the computers are modeled after our brains. So it's,
It's a fact. Yeah.
there's a lot that goes into it. Your memory is basically a hard drive. That's why you have journals, so that you don't have to think about other things. And yeah, there's a lot that goes into it when it comes to making music, finding the right packages, beats, all of that stuff. And you put in the work consistently, and it shows that, you know, your start is definitely different from someone who hasn't done the research, and it'll only improve from there. You have starting off with a great foundation, and then that's going to develop off to a more in the long term, especially
Yes.
a better long term consistency. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
what,
not about the amount of time you put in, it's about the quality of time you put in.
yeah. So for you, it's all about quality too.
Yeah,
Quality.
because quality over quantity every day. That's why I'll work on one song for like a whole day. And I've done like 4 or 5. I know I'm capable. I've done it. I've done like 4 or 5, 8 songs in one day. But I'm looking for quality. I'm looking for that song, and something that good doesn't just come with like what 10 minutes. Like come on, like you can't be that good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like yeah, I'm a perfectionist also. It's one of my gifts and flaws at the same time.
I'm the same way too. I'm a perfectionist. It's a good thing, but also a
It's
bad
just
thing
time
because of
consuming,
delay.
right? It's like when you really just want to get something done, but you're just so focused on making sure like it's perfect. And it's
Yes,
like,
I gotta make sure this is right. The lighting,
even this
setting.
even this job, like the deadline, trying to get to this deadline was like really hard. And I had a lot of time, but it was like I was so focused on making sure every little thing is right. Like I almost missed a dead job. And I was like, look, I gotta be on top of myself, and I made it, thank God. But yeah, it's just being a perfectionist definitely takes away like a lot of time that you could probably use in different areas, but it's worth it.
I just feel like I'm not too sure if it's the same way for you, but it's just a feeling of being mediocre, and
Yeah,
I just don't
yeah,
like that.
yeah, no.
Like
I
I'm
don't want to just
not.
be
I
that
ain't
average
regular.
average guy out there.
That ain't it. Nah. All right. Do you have any more remarks about anything or any advice to starting artists out there?
Yeah, if you got talent, that's great. If you got work ethic, that's better. If you got both, that's the greatest scheme of everything. Just put those two together, and I promise you'll go somewhere. And aim at the very top, because you're gonna land somewhere in the middle. Don't set your goals so low. Like, oh, I'm just gonna try to be a C-list celebrity, a C-list artist. Like, yo, aim for the top. Like, try to get there. Like, try to be better than the best right now. Like, you're gonna get somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? So yeah.
There's a saying: aim for the moon, and if you miss, at least you lay in the stars. You know what I mean?
Exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, we're gonna get into your EP and dissecting it a little bit, and I have some questions about each song in the EP.
Of course.
So I'm gonna go over the songs that you have in there again. Deadly Romantic is the first one, then Cold Hearts, Shrugging It Off, Palms, and Picture Perfect. So your first song, Deadly Romantic,
Yeah.
it's a sample from David's song, Romantic Homicide, and I feel like that song, Romantic Homicide from David, it's about individuals facing parental abuse induced by violence or drugs, or it's also about hopeless romantics and how those who were in a relationship thought it was going to be perfect and they were going to be near for a very long time, but it ended up not
Working
working
out.
out. So which one was it? I have an idea, but
For me, yeah, for me, I had wrote this about a girl that I used to know. I just was in a spot where it was like, it's either me or nobody. Like I was madly in love with this girl. And I guess the song is just about like deadly romantic. This shit was sweet at first. When you're playing with me and this shit can get crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like deadly romantic to the core. I just spoke my piece and I spoke my anger out and I let my feelings go and I just said what needed to be said. I didn't hold anything back. I said everything. I said everything I needed to say. It was definitely like a fuck you track. If she's listening, she knows. I'm not gonna say names, but yeah. So yeah, that's what it was.
yeah, that's the vibe I got from the
Yeah.
song. You were mad about how a girl played you. She got a new man's, and she was playing with your heart, and you didn't mess with it, which is definitely understandable. My question for you is, what was your state of mind when you first wrote that song? Like, what were some of the
Oh, I was
emotions playing
pissed. I
through?
was fucking angry. I was pissed because it's like I spent all this time with you when I put a lot of effort into what we had going, and that was like my last strike as a lover boy. Like I
Damn.
was heavy lover boy back then, and I was just like, this is definitely an old topic. This is like last 2 years. You know what I mean? But I had just brought those memories back, and that's when I started writing that. It was definitely coming from a place of just anger, and thinking back on it. I was like, how did I love this girl so much? Like she wasn't even good for me, but it's like she was the first one to show me that mutual love. I felt like every relationship I've been in before that, I felt like it was one sided. But in my
Right.
this situation, it just felt one sided to me. And then the girls that it didn't feel one sided with, I didn't like them like that, and I don't know why. They just their energy was off with me, like it didn't feel right, so I had to let it go. But this felt right at the moment. It felt right. It felt what I was missing. And when you get something you've been wanting forever, you just want to let it go and get violent over it. You know what I mean? not like I'll do anything to her, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, the anger, it's just, you feel like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I was fucked up over that for a few. But you know, you live and learn. Would I ever let somebody, play me like that now? Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you live and learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live and learn. And that's just experience, right? It's a canon moment.
Yeah, it's a core memory. It's part of my villain arc.
Yeah. All right. So the next song, Cold Hearts. I will say the opening of the song sounded galactic. He also said, "Listen out, Pluto," the filler, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like you wanted everyone in the galaxy to hear you out. Like, hey, listen out, Pluto. And Pluto's not in the solar system anymore. It's like far away.
Yeah.
Also, the government confirmed that aliens exist, so who knows? They're
Yeah, I
bumping
was
there right
watching that
now. You know
live.
what
That
I'm
was
saying?
crazy. And I always knew it. I used to be so obsessed with aliens. I was like, yo, I know they're real, and I was confirmed, right? But back to the song. Yeah, honestly, I was in a state of mind where like my I was really high. You know what I'm saying? And like I just like felt the energy of this song. I heard the beat, and I've always wanted to make a song of this beat, right?
Yeah.
And the words were just coming to me. Like my voice felt massive when I was recording it. Everything I was doing just sounded like ear candy. And if I wasn't doing the right thing, I would instantly know and change it. And it just came so easy to me. Like that song is literally one of the points in time where I'm listening to a song and I'm like, this is me. You know what I mean? Like this is me. And yeah, I wanted that spacey vibe. I wanted that vibe when, you know, you're smoking or, you know, you're drinking, you fucked up at the party, you back in the whip and you turn that bitch on. And it's definitely a big moment. Yeah, just the energy on that was definitely a big thing for me. And the song more so what it's about feeling numb and feeling nothing. It's about trying to you're trading your health. Like I said, trading my mind, you know what I'm saying? Trading my health, trying to free up my mind.
Right.
Which basically means I'm taking these drugs, I'm trying to feel something, I don't feel anything, and my heart's just like in a standstill. Like there's no big emotion. There's nothing that makes me really feel alive right now. And there might be someone in your life that's looking for something from you, or looking for love, or looking for something that you just cannot provide right now. And you're trying to say that we're not. It's okay that I don't feel this way. Like just vibe with me, like just be here with me. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to work on it, but I can't give you what you want. But you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But if I'm being honest with you, it's like it's that down there.
Yeah, and that galactic vibe, right, where you're spaced out, or it sounds like you're on cloud nine or whatever, and I could tell that was intentional. You know, listen now, Pluto.
Big
Like you want to emphasize that you don't care. Like, hey, I'm letting everyone know
But
that I
it's,
don't
you
care.
know, it's not in a place of negativity. I think when people listen to it, they get this like it sounds negative, but it's really just me being honest and being transparent, right? It's like I want to still be around you, but I don't really feel strong emotions. Like, I'm taking this, I'm taking that, and it don't even make me feel like that. There's no way you can.
Yeah,
And it's like you try to be very transparent, but it's definitely not a place of negativity.
for sure. And I like how it kind of segues from deadly romantic, how it's like she broke my heart, and then now it goes into you have your cold heart now. And in the beginning of the song, you repeated, "I feel nothing." You also discuss your eyes being covered by smoke. You were hiding your emotions and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I was like, hey, I don't care. Like,
Sure,
sure.
you caught that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. And then you kind of already explained how you were trying to not listen to your emotions, which is, it's not always good to take external things. It's good to
Yeah,
feel
of
it
course.
right there.
It's a battle. It's always a battle. But I never had an addictive personality, right? So it's like we all have our vices, right? Some people they eat candy. Some people they smoke cigarettes. We all have our vices in life, like. But I try to definitely keep my life on the right path. It's never been like I don't do no crazy shit. You know what I mean? I'm not a fucking fiend. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a regular shit that everybody does. You know what I mean? You drink a little bit, you smoke a little bit. That's really it. But it's the excess of it, right? It's those times when you feel really like numb and you just want to feel anything. Like even sadness. There's some times where like I'll be really sad and I just haven't felt nothing in a while, and I'll just be like, yes, like this feels good. It feels bad, but it feels good. It feels good to feel something. And I'm generally an energetic person, and I'm generally a person that's like, I like to keep the vibes up, right? So people assume that means like I have hella strong emotions and shit like that. Just imagine someone beat a drum, you know what I'm saying, with as hard as they can. That's what usual emotions feel like. And
Yeah.
for me, it's just kind of like a tap. It's like a little tap. That's how I feel. I'm working on it. It's definitely something that it takes time.
I see. And then the next one was Shrugging It Off. The opening of the song was by far my favorite in the entire EP. Yeah. It's too late for us, baby. All that
Yeah.
we can make. Yo, that beginning, the opening intro, it sounded like it was meant for a club. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, for
ooh,
sure. Yeah.
it was lit. I liked it for sure. And then later on in the song, you said, I enjoy the smoke. That's why I'm puffing it. I can tell that you had enough of it. And then I can tell that you hate that I'm shrugging it off. Then later you explained you want to get back with your ex and you couldn't fake going back like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But it seemed she was upset that she was living life, that she was cooling, that everything was great.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah, I'm not dealing with that no more.
Yeah.
So it sounded like you grew out of that phase and you moved on to what you knew was best, right?
Yeah. I feel like shrugging it off signifies the end era of my Loverboy era, my, you know what I'm saying? Simp era, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it that. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I think growing up, my dad never really had one. Like, he wasn't with my mom. He wasn't with my stepmom anymore. And then I had another stepmom after that. And I have a bunch of beautiful siblings, bless them, you know what I mean? But I think I first just wanted to be different than my dad. And I just wanted to have one person and really try with them. But the more I got into these relationships, the more I realized that this just isn't for me right now. And we both don't know what we're doing, you know, and you always think you have it figured out. And you always think that it's going to go the way you plan. And you're like, oh, this time's going to be different. But I got tired of saying this time's going to be different. And I think my life's honestly been like, yes, I don't have that feeling of strong love anymore, but I don't have that stress. I don't have that like pain. And it is good to feel pain, like I said, but it was just bad. It was to the point where it's like, I'm hurting over a breakup and then the last 5 breakups because it happened so many times, like all at once. And and I think that's why I feel like that. I think that's why I shut my emotions off. I don't think I'm incapable of feeling stuff. I think I don't want to let myself feel that pain anymore. And I feel like sometimes I do open up so I can feel alive, but I feel like people might look at me crazy, like, what do you mean you can't just shut up? But I really, like, I swear to God, I vision my heart status of what it feels like, and I can see if it's feeling something or not, you know what I mean? And a lot of times, especially after a lot of breakups, like, it might sound weird, but I'd imagine my heart in, like, shackled up in chains and closed off with gates and stuff like that. That's how I felt it, because I'm a visual learner. So, like, I'm picturing what I feel in my head, you know what I mean? And there's definitely been moments where I felt a little bit of something, but most of the time it's just going through the motions and stuff like that. But yeah, shrugging it off, it's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. It's definitely signified the end of that time in specific. Yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful to visualize your emotions. When it comes to that, having emotional intelligence, it's good to feel and not dissociate, because you know what you feel, you know what to do. Like, am I feeling anger? Am I feeling sadness? Am I feeling this or that? Because then you'll know what steps to take next.
Yeah, and nobody can tell you how you feel, right?
Right.
It's like, I know how I feel. You know what I'm saying? But I know when I don't feel anything. That's why I feel like, I swear to God, if I ever get into a situation where it starts beating again, the song I'm about to make is about to be crazy. You're gonna hear some crazy stuff. But yeah, no, yeah, like, you know your own mind state, and I like to be able to be in control of my emotions. And I think part of shutting them off has definitely been maybe not the best way to cope, but definitely a way to control them and not let them guide you into the wrong path. Because when you feel some type of way, you can do some crazy stuff that you might regret later. I feel like the only time I really just let myself loose is when I'm making songs and I'm thinking about things that actually I did feel for it back then. When I'm making a song about something, I feel something. Other than that, it's just like crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets.
It must have been a lot to go through at the time. And this is also why I don't like gaslighting, because that's not a big deal, whatever. You know what I mean?
I
So
didn't even know what gaslighting. Like, I didn't know the definition. I knew what gaslighting was. Like, I've seen it happen, but I didn't know the definition of gaslighting until like a week ago. Because everybody would always say it, but nobody explained it. But I knew I've seen the situations happen, right? But I didn't know that's what gaslighting was called, and I just figured that out. Yeah. So I was like, oh, because people just throw that word around. I'm sorry, like they really
Nah,
do.
that's true.
They
Yeah.
just throw the word around. So if you don't ever make the effort to look it up, or yeah,
The next song is Palms. It sounded like you moved on from your past relationship. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like you found someone new
yeah,
and like you didn't want to let them go and you were very anxious about staying with them.
yeah. I made that in a point in time in my life where I met somebody who, yeah, those moments where you meet somebody and it's just electric at first, when it's just like a lot, you know what I mean? And that's all
Mm,
you're thinking about. So that's kind of where it came from. A lot of things I said were things I said to that person. So a lot of these slick lines I throw in there is like things that is either happened or I've said. So it's just like a fun time. It was definitely a fun time. But yeah, it's nothing too crazy. You should take the song for what it is. I said a lot in there, so yeah.
yeah. It gave me like, you're almost back to the Lover Boy era in a way, a little bit. Like you had some hope. Just a
Not,
little.
not more so Loverboy. I think I can give off that vibe, but I think more so like back to being okay, back to still being out there, and to still looking and still doing my thing, and not necessarily staying down with somebody, but definitely like because I couldn't give them what they wanted right now, for sure. But catching a vibe with someone, not being afraid to hang with somebody, and have that feeling of like attraction and just good vibe and good energy.
Right. And then the last song, Picture Perfect. Now, what I thought about this song was that you admire the girl you're currently with and how she's picture perfect and that no one can touch her, bums can't touch her, whatever. Was that was after Palms and was it after you secured her and thought, oh my god, like yeah, she's the girl that I envisioned her to be. Like,
Yeah.
what was that about?
Picture perfect is more so acknowledging what's going on, right? It's like I think you look amazing. I think you look picture perfect like nobody else. Nobody else gonna do what I'm gonna do for you, but the way you do for me, like I love that too. And it's more so I'm acknowledging what we give to each other. It's like these niggas can't do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? The way I could do something for you,
I
but
see.
the way you do for me, you know what I'm saying? It's just an acknowledgement. It's definitely a high energy bounce to it. It's so funny because I wasn't even gonna do this beat, but shout out to my manager, Jimmy. He was like, yo, I got this producer. He just wants to get some beats out there. And I listened to the beat, and at first I did not like it. I just didn't have anything to go off of it. And then one day I'm sitting down, I had nothing else to do. I had finished everything else I had to do. And I just put the beat on, and I already took a couple shots and like 3 shots in. And I'm just like, yo, I'm feeling the vibe. And I'm just like, yes, sir. Like, and I just started popping off. Legs were coming to me like this. So it was definitely one of those moments where it was just, I was in the zone. Like, nobody could bother me. Like, I was in the, like, you could not come into my room and say nothing. Like, I was focused in the studio. Because I recorded in my room. I record my own music. I was just focused. And I got it off. And I was happy. I was happy as hell when that song came out. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, and then overall, what I thought about that, including the whole entire songs in the EP, it flowed really well. It was a story being told. Deadly Romantic spoke about how a girl played your heart, she got a new man. The
Yeah.
next one was Cold Hearts, where you closed your, you expressing some form of love, and you said yourself, you visualized your heart being closed off, gated. And then next was Shrugging It Off, where now you're doing your own thing, you're focusing, and the girl that she was with, she sees that and she takes interest, but you can't fake going back into it. And then it flowed into Palms and Picture Perfect. So was that all intentional where like every single song flowed and segued after the other, you
Yeah,
know?
you hit it on the money. To be honest with you, you hit it on the money. Yeah, it was definitely intentional. I definitely wanted a storyline to it because it's my life. I'm talking about my life right here. It's not just like some fiction bullshit. Like,
Right.
yeah, I was just telling the story of what was going on with me, and I was just hoping that people could relate. I don't try to be relatable by trying to say things I think people are gonna relate to. I just talk about my life and hope somebody finds it relatable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's just what was going on with me at the time. Because if you've listened to my music before, you notice I was a party animal. Like all I was talking about was like going to the clubs to get lit. Because that's what I was going through. That was my life. I was really living that. You know what I'm saying? And when I got to college, I just had to deal with a lot of more of that stuff and different lifestyles, more focused on school. I wasn't really going out like that anymore. And I went out a few times. But yeah, I only went out when I really had like a blockade or I couldn't figure something out. Otherwise, I was just focused on making sure I could gain more engineering skill, audio engineering skills, and just work on my craft more and just being a student. But yeah, yeah, it's a storyline. It's what's going on.
All right. And then in the future, do you see yourself doing more storylines for your albums or?
Yeah, I never say never, right? It's more so I'm a moments type of artist, like I said earlier. I like to make songs of like I clip my life, if that makes sense. Like I take a part of my life and I clip it and I put it in a song. It could happen, but I like to just do like I like to throw projects where there's a bunch of little bit of everything. You listen to what you like. But I'm definitely gonna be working on more stuff with the intention of a storyline. But I don't want to like hold myself to a certain thing. But I think when you do a storyline, people are definitely more engaged with it, and there's more substance to it. So it's definitely something I'm going to be looking at, going to be working on, and just trying to strive to be better always.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel a lot of artists that do storylines like J. Cole, they love that. They eat that
I
up.
mean,
Or King
Kendrick,
Von.
Mad City, like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that. That was crazy. Like I love that project. So it's it's all up to what you like. But yeah.
Mm. And do you have any ideas for future projects? Do you feel you're going to do some different styles, or like are you currently working with different ideas, or do you have any ideas in mind that you're thinking about implementing in the future? What's your stance on that?
What I'll say right now is I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of like half finished songs, right? Like of different moments and memories of what's going on with me. But in terms of new ideas, I'm gonna be working with a lot of new audio engineers, so it's gonna be a new type of sound for
Hmm.
sure. When my next project probably comes out, a lot of the singles I already have ready to just drop. I'm just waiting for the right time. But I just want to focus on pushing this project right now. When I have a video coming out for one of the singles I just dropped, the Go Stream Demons and Angels, all platforms, Tyrese X underscore, Tyrese underscore X on Instagram. And I can go on my LinkTree and find all my old music. But yeah, everything I've done has been different. You know what I'm saying? Everything I've done has been never the same. So you never know what you're gonna get with me. I'm like a box of chocolates. Like you never know what you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like wait and see. I can't say for sure. You never know.
And that also includes experimenting with different genres
Yeah.
like country and rap or whatever.
Country is like the one thing I won't step my foot in. And it's not because I'm hating on country. It's just that I don't personally enjoy that music. But there are songs that I like. Like there's one, two, three songs I'll be like, yo, that's fire. I can appreciate the music, right?
Right.
But the majority of the genre is not something that appeals to me. So I probably wouldn't ever make a country song, to be honest with you. I think that's where I draw the line. But everything else, yeah, like who knows? Maybe I'll do an EDM joint. You never know. But yeah, I like to do what I want, and I don't like to be held back in a certain box.
Yeah. Definitely as an artist, you want to be creative and outgoing. Like Drake is doing Jamaican,
Yeah, he's doing his thing, and people hate on him
like
for it. But it's like
lingo.
you gotta evolve as an artist, right? Like if he did the same thing over and over, they'd be complaining about that. Everybody has something to complain about. Me personally, I like the new stuff he's doing. I think he's going in a great direction. Keep it up. Yeah, so I think you just got to keep moving forward and just pushing with what you believe in.
Yeah, for sure. And then, do you have any more advice to artists writing their next EP? What should they focus on when they're writing their songs or making their beats and everything that's included with making that first song?
Yeah, this is probably the last thing I'll say on this topic, but a lot of these artists still sit there, do the same flow for half the song, and they won't change. If like, yo, like I don't want to sit there and listen to the same flow the whole song. You have to be
Mm.
real. There's only a few people in this world that could do that, and I really like it. You know what I mean? Most people really like it, and it's like that's like the point 0.0000 that can do that, and like it'd be good. Most honestly, I feel like just changing your flow every 4 or 8 bars. I think that's something that's gonna really improve your music. For real. That's an easy hack right there. And try to go into your mind and talk about your life. That's where you're gonna get the real inspiration. Don't try to just like be like, you know what I mean? Don't try to talk about something like you had no business talking about, right? So it's like obviously you could fluff it up a little bit. Like I mean, it's entertainment, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, like just try to stay true to what's going on with you because you'll never run into. You know what I mean? But it's all entertainment. I get it. But yeah.
Yeah, and on the topic of writing things you don't know about, that actually reminds me of this is random, but it reminds me of a word that I learned today actually called ultra crepidarian, which means someone who's talking about things they don't know about. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're an ultra
How you say that?
crepidarian. Ultra crepidarian?
Ultra crepidarian?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
man, you're the ultra crepidarian, man. You don't know what to talk
That's a
about.
long word.
It is a long
That's a
word,
long word, yeah.
but I like
Oh.
adding new words to my vocab and just learning new things.
Yeah, you learn new things. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then do you have any final remarks? Anything that you want to shout out to
Yes.
the audience?
Yes, I do. the Demons and Angels / Angels and Demons, because the name will be changing to Angels and Demons. But for right now, it's called Demons and Angels. There's a video coming out very soon. Shout out to Tabletop for having me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But definitely tune in, because I'm going to be dropping a lot of singles after this, and then I'm going to be working on my next projects. Icon is a song that's scheduled to come out, so stay tuned in for that. I can't give away too much right now, but follow me, Instagram, Tyrese, with 2 S's, _X. My LinkTree's in there. You can find everything you ever need to find. And don't be afraid to like and comment and share with your friends. If you enjoyed this interview, and you think you could relate to me a little bit, and you can connect, why not? Why not? Go subscribe. Why not go listen?
Yeah, that's one. I appreciate you again, Ty, for joining the show. Next time, I'll have you on for your next project.
Yeah.
All right, but I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Do you have any more remarks about anything or any advice to starting artists out there?
Yeah, if you got talent, that's great. If you got work ethic, that's better. If you got both, that's the greatest scheme of everything. Just put those two together, and I promise you'll go somewhere. And aim at the very top, because you're gonna land somewhere in the middle. Don't set your goals so low, like, oh, I'm just gonna try to be a C-list celebrity, a C-list artist. Like, yo, aim for the top. Like, try to get there. Like, try to be better than the best right now. Like, you're gonna get somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? So yeah.